Hello everyone. So in the session we are going to see the module number 4 in the design thinking process. So here we have seen the previous video of introduction to design thinking, 5 key principles, and what are the different empathy process and user research. And the next module 3 we seen the how to craft the problem statement and what are the different steps for generating the ideas. And last module we look on the prototyping and the testing for the IoT solutions. So after everything is arrived, we are next of list we have to go for the prototyping process. After prototyping we have to go for the testing process. So in the module 4 you are able to understand how the design thinking principles imply on creating the solution, and after that how to analyze the test results and incorporate the feedback into the design integrations. And next one is a design and execute usability test for IoT prototypes. Next, the last one is the low fidelity and high fidelity prototypes for IoT application. What is the meaning and differences between the low and high fidelity prototypes? So these are the things you are going to be look on the module number 4. So here the first stage is the prototyping applications. So in the prototyping applications you can see this. Now understanding a prototype, so how to what are the different ways to understand the prototype? So the prototype should be the tangible. Tangible means it is a measurable one, and you must have some visual representation of an idea or concept. After that visual representation of an idea, you have to go for the ideation stage. So here the different teams are involved to create the idea and validate the idea. After that, you are going to create the prototype to test the feasibility and desirability and viability. The framework you have seen in the previous module. So what is the difference between feasibility and desirability and viability? So based on this, you have to develop the prototype. After that, you have to perform the testing the prototyping model. Next, what are the benefits of prototyping for IoT applications? Allows the teams to quickly validate whether IoT application will work in the real world scenario. So this is the first benefit. You can able to judge that your solution will going to work in the real world scenario. And next one, allows the potential users to provide the feedback on usability, functionality, and overall experience. So after developing the prototype, you are getting a feedback from the users whether how it is going to be work. And next one is a cost effective way. Whatever the solution you are proposing, it should be has the cost effective. While concerning on the cost effective, the product with flawless defect should be maintained. So you have to avoid the design flaws, technical glitches, and usability issues while designing the product in the low cost. So these are the things that you have to be understand. So you are plan to design the product in low cost, but most of the cases we make a flaws in the designs and some technical glitches after prototyping the model. And while at the time of testing, the usability issue will come into the market. So that's why the cost of the price always it keeps on higher level, because they need to take care of all those things. Here, key takeaways from the previous slide, you may understand what is a prototyping and what are the benefits of prototyping in IoT applications. The next one is a low fidelity prototyping model. Here, we are going to see the model of sketches, wireframes, and mockups. What are these things? So here you can see the sketches means, for example, I am designing one app. So I am drawing these things, how my app has to be look on my mobile. So hand-drawn representation of the idea and the earliest visual manifestation. So before developing any product, you have to draw like this. For example, I need to develop one pot. So the pot looks like what is the design has to be made it on the pot. For example, I have a trees and leaves. This is my pot. So my pot has to looks like this. So here I need to plant the trees. Likewise, so here you can see I have drawn some structure of the part. So this is called as a sketches. So how your app look like to be. So you have to draw, and my app has some default buttons. So this is a devices and shapes and apps. Shapes has to be layouts, and interaction has to be defined with the help of sketches. Sketches means simply you have to draw in a hand, and you have to visualize and manifest how your final product looks like. That is the process of sketches. And wireframes. Wireframe means basically it is a layout of an application. For example, you are like to create the application. So in the layout, what are the options should be available? For example, I have option of screens and settings and Wi-Fi. I connecting a Bluetooth or user data. So likewise, what are the different settings you have to place in the particular layout of the sketches? So you have to make the structured layout and offers the clear picture of functional elements and uses the basic shapes and lines. So wireframes, it aligns what are the things to be visible in the user interactive process. Mockups. Mockup means it is a layout which is going to be happen in the different colored form because it has to be attractive to the users. For example, if I am downloading an application my mobile phone, it should it should be very beautiful. Then only you are able to use the application frequently. Or else if I am opening the application, it comes pop up with a many number of option in the layout. So this is called as a makeup. It is just like a makeup. Mockups is just like a makeup. How you are dressing well for the any kind of function and putting a makeup for the functions. So this is a so how you are looking to the outside people. How I resemble. So likewise, these things has to be taken care in the mind, and this is a called as a clearer vision of your product. It incorporates the colors, typography, and imaginary. Typography means the fonts, how the font is looking very beautiful for the users. The font selections and icons. So how you are going to make it in the mockups. So now you able to understand what are the different things are there. Sketches, you have to draw the layout, how your product look like to be in wireframe. So you have to map the options. What are the options you have to place on the screens? And mockup, how your screen has to look. So different colors, typography, and the interactive panel you have created in the option of mockup. And after that, you have to visualize the things of prototype. How my application has to be visualized in the mobile phone. How it is compatible in a different mobile phone versions. So these are the things we are generally say about the uh, low. This is simply we can say this is a process of low relative process. So while talking about the while talking about the uses and advantages, it's a simple and easy to modify, ensure the insights gathered yearly and leading to the more informed interactions and democratization of the design process encourages the team members from the diverse background. Diverse background. Diverse background means, for example, if I need to launch the product, for example, I need to launch the product all over India. It means so if you see the MNC companies, they have the diverse background of the people. Diverse background of the people means they have the people from all the states. If you say if any ideation panel is there, at least there should be some multi-diverse people will be there to validate the ideas or validate the things. So it means it is usually you can able to think with Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Indore, New Delhi. So likewise, the team members will be from the diverse background. So it is easiest to get the modified information very easily. And the user experiences from the different states with the help of single probability model, they can use it to contribute their ideas. And here the key takeaways, you understand what is a sketches. you have to draw the layout. Wireframe is simply nothing but it is the wireframe is the how to place the layout options in your screens, how it is looking to the users. And the mockups, while talking about the mockups, it is the visual colors, how the color has to be visible. So the decoration of the application or icons which is going to be placed on the screen. So this is a kind of applications, or it is applicable to all the product. For example, you are using a mobile phone. So if you see the mobile phone, how the physical structure and the screen, it is a curved or flat screen, and how the panel has the icon, the size of the icon, how it is feel the users interactive. So these are the things you are going to be designing in the applications. So that's why we are saying that this is a low fidelity applications. In high fidelity prototyping, it is called as a functional prototypes. Functional means, so initially you are creating an applications for the, in the previous case you are creating the applications for the hardwares. Now functional prototype means it is usually handles on the physical structure of an applications. It is a serve as an interactive and detailed representation of the final product. It includes refined visuals and user flows and real-time data interactions. Delve into the details of user experience because you are giving the prototype to the users to get the real-time feedback. So based on the feedback, you are going for manufacturing the certain product or process. So now building functional prototype. Now you can see the mobile phone. So this is the application you have developed. In the application so this is the layout you have developed. This is called as a sketches. And again, you can see these are the option has to be on the screen. So this is called as a wire frame. And again, you are giving the color to the things. So adding color and icon to the things, it is called as a mockup. So after this, you have to show these complete functional prototype. Functional prototype means if I click this button, it has to interact with the physical devices. So this is called as a functional prototype. So it has to be given to the stakeholders to get the interactive feedbacks. You have to create the design which has to be interact lively with the physical devices. That is called as a functional prototypes. And after that, what are the benefits and consideration in the functional prototypes? Understand the look and feel and functionality of the application. Pinpoint the specific interface challenges and identifying the system bottlenecks. Bottleneck means it is a difficulties in the operations. For example, I am clicking the icon. The icon is not connected with the physical device. So this is a difficulty while at the time of doing the first connect. But in the second connect, the device is going to be connected with each other. But in the initial level, it is started struggling to connect with the systems. Consideration, it is more time consuming, costly, and complex revisions. Low fidelity and high fidelity. Now you have seen about these things. The key takeaways: low fidelity model, high fidelity prototypes. High fidelity deals only with the functional models. Here low fidelity, you may understand what is sketches, wireframe, and mockup. And what are the tools and platforms for creating the high fidelity IoT prototypes, and what are the benefits and consideration to develop the prototype model. So next, you are thinking on the testing of the prototyping model. Now my product is ready, developed. It is physically ready. So now I need to test the model in the real-time environment. So what are the different type of usability testing methods available for the IoT applications? So involves real users performing the specific task on the product. You have to ensure the smooth user experience, and because in the pre-launch you are doing certain type of research as well as you are doing some cost analysis, you are getting a product. So you may face n number of failures. So the pre-launch, you may face the high capital cost for launching any product. But after launching the product, you have to think on how to manufacture the product in the low cost or else cost cutting model. So these economical parameters you have to check out after completion of product, and also it is called as a post launch modifications, and validate the design before full scale implementation, because before launching any product, after the trial version, you have to validate the design, because this design is not going to be changed. For example, I am using a phone, I am using a model of Oppo A35 for example. So once a model is finalized, I am going to manufacture for 1000 or 10,000 and 1 lakh models phones I am going to print on the same models. So that's why we have to validate the designs and ensure the operational functional response before going for the full scale implementation. So for that only we are going to testing the model. So here there is a two type of testing is there. One is called as a remote testing, another one is called as a in-person testing. Remote testing means the user can test in the different location and allows the observation of user interaction and cost effective. And again, in-person testing means user and tester in the same physical location, real-time observation and easily set up. For example, remote testing means the manufacturing plant is available in Pune. They are giving the developed prototype to the Shirdi, for example. Now it is a 250 kilometer apart from the Shirdi. So the Pune is called as a remote location, and the users are available in the Shirdi. So while the prototype used by the users can be remotely monitored with the help of remote testing method. In-person testing means if I need to buy a car, you have to go to the showroom and you have to go for the test drive. So in person, you are testing the final prototype, whether it is satisfied, you are going to buy the model. So it is a simple example for dealing with the cars. And also, for example, any company is going to launch any car model. So they will do the test drive all over the India. So when they are going to launch the Scorpio, for example, Mahindra company is going to launch the Scorpio. So the Scorpio model has to be revolved all over the places of India in the major highways. So the vehicle, because they need to test the feasibility and the reliability of the particular car manufacturer. So then only you can be able to understand how the vehicle is behaving in all the locations and what are the different temperatures. You can see from areas to areas, the temperature, humidity, everything is going to be changed. Climatic conditions also going to be changed. So how the vehicle is responding to all the conditions, and whether all the electronics and the automated equipments which is properly working in the vehicle or not. You can able to test with the dry surface, wet surface, as well as the different type of testing they will do with the cars, vehicles. So here, what are the different type of testing is available? Formative testing, summative testing. Formative testing means it is the testing during the development phase. Summative testing means simple. For example, you are writing a CA examination before end semester, CA1, CA2, and you are doing some capstone activity. So these are called as a formative testing. Summative testing means it is simply called as a end semester. After end of the course, you are writing the final exam. That is called as a end semester. That is called as a summative testing. So during developing the product, I am doing the parallel testing with the product. After developed the product, I am going for the final testing. That is called as a summative testing. And next, you have to think aloud protocol. It means that users verbalize their thoughts and while interacting with the product. Simple. You are using Google Alexa. For example, I say Alexa, play the song. So my verbal has to map with the equipment. The equipment has to understand what I said. So this is called as a think aloud protocol. And next one is called as a task-based setting. The users are given specific tasks to perform on the products. Choosing the right testing method. What are the different right testing method we are using? Based on the nature of IoT devices, based on the development stage, based on the budget and resources. You have to choose a method has to align with the specific goals of an IoT application. So these are the things you have to be considered to select the testing methods. So from this, you understand usability testing aims, common usability testing methods, and factors to consider when choosing the right testing methods. The next one is a design and conduct usability test. So in the previous, we have seen on prototyping. And next we see on the usability test. So different type of test and the points has to be considered. Next we have to go for the design and conduct the test. So before preparing for the test, you have to set some clear objectives, because successfully complete the specific task without assistance, identify the area of confusion and difficulties, the gauge user satisfaction levels with certain features. For example, you are going to buy a bike. So in the bike, there is a speedometer is there. So the speedometer previously it was at analog, now it is come with the digital, and the digital meter also come with the more number of options. You can able to look on mileage and all those things, and the devices which is connected. Some vehicles come with the inbuilt speaker model also. You can able to connect your devices, and you can able to make a call, and you can speak with your vehicle itself, not using your phone. So like we some cages user satisfaction levels with the certain features has to be incorporated. So you have to set the clear objective for preparing for the test. And while preparing for the test, you have to select the right participants. For example, I am designing one product for Himachal Pradesh. I am going to sell that product to the Chennai. It is not possible, because I am developing the product of heaters. For example, I can say room heaters. The room heaters means it is applicable only for the cooling location. But Chennai is too hot. I am not able to use the product to the Chennai. So accordingly, you have to select the right participants based on the demographics and the experience level of the users, and you have to do some surveys using a requirement methods. So these some surveys is like an indirect method to analyze the test. And preparing the test environment and the materials. The environment must be conducted to be the testing, free from distraction, equipped with all necessary devices to monitor, and materials for the IoT component and supporting document or instruction. For example, I am using Arduino, so their instruction will be different. If I am going to use a Raspberry, their information going to be different, because in Arduino you can use a Arduino IDE to program this. In Raspberry Pi, you have to use a Python editor. So I may use the Tony editor to do the uploading of coding. So I need to use the supporting document and instruction based upon the model what I am going to use. Next, tools for recording the sessions. Why we have to record? Already we have said, whatever the things you have to do, you have to record or note taking. So instead of that note taking, we can directly go with the recording, because we are performing the test. So it is the real time data available to play it again and again and to analyze the success or failures in the models. Crafting test scenarios. You have to craft the scenarios like reflecting the real world use case. IoT applications are to be evaluated. Different user path and interactions has to be explored. Likewise, and holistic view of product usability. Simple. If I'm going to launch the car into the market, so what I have to do? I have to do the safety testing. It is a crash test I have to do. So I am using a vehicle. I need to perform the safety check. So for the safety check, I am going to hit the vehicle into the object. For example, I can perform 20 km per hour. The vehicle is moving towards the object and hitting the object. What is the crash percentage? So similarly, vehicle is coming with 50 km model. 50 kilometers speed and hit the object. What is the crash report? Now vehicle is coming under 100 kilometers, hitting the object. What is the crash percentage? So here I am not able to do again and again this kind of testing. So because the vehicle is going to be get damaged for all the type of testing. So that's why we are doing, whenever doing any kind of testing, I have to record as a video to as a evidence, as well as I can able to understand what are the things I have to be modified, what other things has to be incorporated. So that's why we can say that you have to use the real world use cases. Here real world use cases means the vehicle is going in 100 km speed. If hit any object, what are the damages has to be happen inside the car. So you have to consider that scenario. Key takeaways, you have to set the clear objectives, select the right participants, test the environment and materials, and craft the scenarios that are realistic and comprehensive. In next to that, we have done prototype, usability test. After that, design and conduct. After design and conduct, we have to analyze the test. So you have to categorize the observations. Task success rate, what are the error rate, completion time, user feedback. Here I need to use certain tools like data analysis spreadsheet software, heat map tools, and video analysis tools. Heat map means it is the energy conservation by the devices, or else based upon the temperature and the humidity of the location also, the device is going to be change its operations. For example, I am placing some IoT devices. When the temperature is too hot, the IoT device is going to be damaged due to the heating conditions. So you have to provide the certain encapsulation or design cases for the module. Identifying the patterns and the users. So what are the different recurring issues happen with the multiple users? Severity of errors, to identify the errors and prevent the task completion, and what are the positive feedback you received during the conduct and the design process. Here you have to do the certain analysis like high priority, medium priority, and low priority. High priority means you have to immediately modify those things into the design. Medium priority means it may take care in further also. Low priority, no need to bother about the low priority problems. Proposing a designs, it is called as a interactive design, considering multiple solutions for the single problem, and collaborate, engage design and development and product teams. So while performing any kind of design, you have to go with a number of iterations, and you have to collaborate with the multidisciplinary teams to develop the ideas. Here key takeaways, usability test results, how you are going to be analysis. So analysis based on the high, medium, and low, and finding guides in creating an IoT applications. So the final step is the interactive design process and final IoT solution development. So here interactive design means continuous process of designing and testing and refining a product, and uncover the unforeseen changes. For example, I am placing anything, so you can't able to, you have to predict the things before itself. Adapt to rapid changing technologies. For example, I am placing Arduino. So in Arduino there is a no Wi-Fi module is there. So it is, but it can able to support the Wi-Fi module with the Arduino Uno. So that is called as a rapid changing technologies. Your devices has to be support and caters to the user needs and preferences. So what is your user expectation? You have to meet the satisfactions. So here you have to go with a different type of iteration process. So you have to get a feedback. So here you have to evaluate the feedback and test results and make the necessary design documentation, and you have to do the retest of solutions. Nothing is that it is an iterative design step, means you are conducting analysis of design, and also you, before that you have conduct the test. So what are the feedbacks you received, feedbacks and results you received? You have to modify the things accordingly. After modification, you have to retest the model again. For example, I am connecting the Arduino, I have designed the Arduino, okay, but while performing the Arduino in the field, it is not able to connect with the some of the sensors. So now I need to take those feedback into the consideration. I am remodifying the Arduino and giving certain options in Arduino. So I am accordingly I will make the design changes. Now I need to check the Arduino is enhanced with the features or not, whether it is possible to interact with all the sensors effectively or not. So this is a way we have to go with the design step process. Transitions to final development. Before the transitions, and you have to confirm the high priority and most medium priority has been totally neutralized and it meets the core objectives. And again you have to collaborations, regular communications with the users as well as your teams, and you to use the common collaborative tool to share the designs, documents and prioritize. Final stage, it is a stress test in the diverse environment and document all design challenges and changes, and scalable and adaptable. So this is the phase moving from prototype to the final development. Here you can understand how to evaluate the feedback and test results and make design challenges, retest the solutions. Final development phase. Final development phase means it is a prototyping to final development phase. So here we have done three things. One is usability test consideration, design and conduct. Third one is the analysis. These are the three stages we have crossed. After that, the final product available, ready for transient from prototype to the final development process. Now this is a kind of activity able to understand, and you have to drag the correct option into the boxes. Now this is the road step starts over here. There are the different statements are given over here. Now you can see the statement given is participant verbalize their thoughts. Step 2, determine the goals from the usability test. Step 3, organizing observations and feedbacks. Step 4, repeatedly refining and improving the design. Fifth step, all major design issues are addressed. So these are the statements I am given you as an activity. Okay. Now you have to arrange the process according to the steps. Now here you can see participant verbalize their thoughts. It means that it is called as the think aloud protocol. And next, step 2, determine the goals from the usability test. So it means that you are setting the objectives. So here you have to determine the goal. It means you are setting the objective for the test. Step 3, it is after setting the objective, you have to compile the data. Compile the data means you are getting the feedback from the different users. That has to be compiling over here. Next one, you have to repeatedly refining and improving the design. So repeatedly refining and improving the design means it is a iterative design, iterative. So it is called as an iteration process. And the fifth step is the final development. So this is a way the users may able to use the process correctly. So this is a usability testing process from think alouds protocol to final development process. Okay. So here I am going to revise the module. What are the different topics we have seen? Low fidelity prototypes, high fidelity prototypes, and usability test. What are the different usability tests? And crafting the real world test scenarios, and iteration process in the design process, and a transient to the final development, and the what are the purpose of recommendation. It is a post analysis recommendation to cut down the cost. You have to highlight the success as well as what are the failures you have met. So by understanding all the stages, you able to develop any solutions not only for the IoT, it is applicable for all the kind of problems. This clarity ensures that every prototypes evolves into the designs that meets and needs the user expectations. Thank you. Happy learning.